Thank you so much, Mom. Congratulations, sweetheart.
They say life is like a box of chocolates. Some days are sweet, some days are bitter. But today's story is about the day I discovered that the sweetest looking chocolate in the box was actually filled with poison. My name is Patricia Miller. I'm 68 years old, and I'm about to tell you about the most unbelievable betrayal I've ever experienced. You know, when you watch those daytime dramas on TV, you think to yourself, oh, that would never happen in real life. That's too crazy. Well, let me tell you something. Sometimes real life is crazier than any soap opera you've ever seen. It was September 14th, 2024, a Saturday afternoon. I remember the smell. That's what hit me first when I walked into the Lancaster Country Club that afternoon. Fresh roses. Hundreds of them, white and pale pink, arranged in crystal vases on every table. I had paid $3,000 to rent this room, $3,000 for a baby shower. But this wasn't just any baby shower. This was for my first grandchild. After 5 years of waiting, 5 years of subtle hints to my son Ryan and his wife Amber, 5 years of watching my church friends show me photos of their grandchildren while I smiled and said, "Oh, how wonderful." Finally, it was my turn. The room looked like something out of a magazine. 85 guests, the who's who of Lancaster society, my business partners, church VIP members, my closest friends, all dressed in their Sunday best on a Saturday afternoon. The gift table. The gift table. I had to blink twice when I first saw it. Boxes stacked 3 feet high, wrapped in designer paper with silk ribbons. I could see the labels from across the room. Tiffany, Pottery Barn, Restoration Hardware. I myself had bought the Bugaboo stroller, the top-of-the-line model, $1,899. The salesperson had tried to show me the budget-friendly option. I just smiled and said, "No, thank you, only the best for my grandchild." The sound of laughter filled the room. Crystal clinked against crystal as servers poured sparkling cider into champagne flutes. Someone had hired a harpist. Actual harp music floated through the air, mixing with the chatter of excited women. And there, in the center of it all, sat Amber, my daughter-in-law, 32 years old, blonde hair perfectly curled, makeup flawless, wearing a white maternity dress that probably cost more than most people's monthly rent. Her hand rested on her belly, that round 7-month pregnant belly. She was glowing. Everyone kept saying it. "Oh, Amber, you're absolutely glowing. Pregnancy looks so good on you. You don't even look tired." That last comment, that should have been my first clue. I walked over to her, holding my own gift, a small velvet box. Inside was my mother's pearl necklace, 4 generations old. I'd been saving it for this moment. "Amber, sweetheart," I said, leaning down to kiss her cheek. She turned and smiled, that bright, camera-ready smile. "Aunt Patricia, oh, this is all so beautiful. You really didn't have to do all this." "Nonsense," I said, sitting down next to her. "This is my first grandchild. Nothing is too much." I'd placed the velvet box in her hands. She opened it slowly. The pearls gleamed under the chandelier light. "Oh my God," she whispered. "Patricia, this is too much." "They were my mother's," I told her. "She wore them when she gave birth to me, and I wore them when I gave birth to Ryan. Now they're yours, for the baby." I saw tears in her eyes, real tears rolling down her carefully made-up cheeks. "I don't know what to say," she said, her voice breaking. "You don't have to say anything, honey." I reached out to hug her. That's when I felt it, when my arms wrapped around her, my hand pressed against her belly, and something felt wrong. It wasn't soft, it wasn't warm, it felt hard, almost like plastic. I pulled back, confused. "Are you okay?" Amber asked, wiping her tears. Yes, I said quickly, just emotional, but my heart was beating faster. The afternoon continued. Game after game. Guess the baby food flavor. Baby bingo. Diaper raffle. I watched Amber the whole time. She was standing for 3 hours straight in 10-centimeter heels. I remembered when I was 7 months pregnant with Ryan, I couldn't stand for more than 20 minutes without my back screaming. My feet had swollen so much I could only wear slippers. But Amber? She looked like she was at a cocktail party. Not a single grimace, not one hand to her lower back, nothing. At one point, I saw her reach for a champagne glass. The server had mixed up the tables. There was one glass of real champagne among the sparkling cider. She lifted it to her lips, then she caught my eye. Quickly, almost too quickly, she set it down. "Oops," she laughed. "Almost forgot. No alcohol for me." Everyone laughed, but I didn't. Then came the moment for opening gifts. Amber sat in the designated chair, a throne really, decorated with white balloons and ribbons that said Baby Miller. One by one, she opened the presents. Each box brought gasps from the crowd. A silver Tiffany rattle set, $450. A handmade mahogany cradle from the Johnsons, $3,500. Designer baby clothes from Nordstrom, stack after stack. Cash envelopes. I saw Mrs. Henderson slip her a card with a check. Later, Amber would tell me it was for $2,000. With each gift, Amber's hand went to her belly, a theatrical gesture, rubbing circles, looking down with that maternal smile. But I was watching something else, the belly itself. When she leaned forward to pick up a gift, the belly stayed perfectly round. It didn't shift, it didn't move the way a real pregnant belly moves. And when she stood up to use the bathroom, for the 3rd time she'd announced loudly, "Pregnancy bladder, you know," I watched her walk away. The belly seemed to sit on top of her, not part of her. I shook my head. "Patricia," I told myself, "you're being ridiculous. You're seeing things that aren't there." But I couldn't shake the feeling. Something was wrong. The party ended at 5 o'clock. Amber stood at the door, thanking each guest personally, playing the perfect mother-to-be. I stayed to help clean up. That's when I found it, in the bathroom, the private bathroom reserved for the guest of honor. A receipt, crumpled up in the wastebasket. I normally wouldn't have looked. I'm not a snoop, but something made me pick it up. It was from Amazon. Order date November 28th, 2023. Item description was partially torn, but I could read enough. Moon bump wearable pregnant. The rest was ripped off. Moon bump? I folded the receipt and put it in my purse. My hands were shaking. That night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed, staring at the ceiling of my big, empty house, the house I'd bought with my own money after 30 years of building my real estate business. Was I crazy? Was I really suspecting my daughter-in-law of faking a pregnancy? That was insane. That was something that happened in movies, in TV shows, not in real life, not in my life. But the receipt, that hard feeling when I hugged her, the way she moved, the champagne glass. At 2 in the morning, I got up and went to my computer. I typed into Google, moon bump, and my entire world collapsed. If you're wondering what I found, please subscribe now. Hit that subscribe button and the like button, because what comes next, you won't believe it. Trust me. Before I tell you what I discovered that night, let me take you back to where this whole nightmare began. November 2023, 2 months before Christmas. I didn't know this at the time. I only found out later during the investigation. But this is what was happening while I was dreaming about becoming a grandmother. Amber was sitting in a wine bar in downtown Lancaster, not the kind of place a pregnant woman would go. But she wasn't pregnant, not yet, not in her lies anyway. She was with her best friend, Madison, 2 glasses of Pinot Noir on the table between them. "I can't do it," Amber said, swirling her wine. "I can't get pregnant. Not now." Madison frowned. "But Ryan wants kids. His mom is obsessed with having grandchildren. Isn't she always hinting?" "Hinting?" Amber laughed. It was a bitter sound. She's not hinting. Last week she sent me an article about the best prenatal vitamins with a note that said, "For when you're ready, dear." So tell her you're not ready. I can't. Amber took a long sip of wine. You don't understand. Ryan's mom, Patricia, she's loaded, like seriously loaded, multi-millionaire real estate mogul. She paid for our wedding. She bought us our house, put it in Ryan's name, but still, that's a $400,000 house, Madison. Okay, so she's generous. She's generous when she gets what she wants, and what she wants is a grandchild. I can see it in her eyes every time we have dinner. She's already set up a trust fund. Did I tell you that? A $50,000 trust fund for a baby that doesn't even exist yet. Madison leaned back. So what are you going to do? Amber was quiet for a moment. That's when she saw it. On her phone, an Instagram ad. One of those targeted ads that seems to know exactly what you're thinking. A woman, smiling, wearing a realistic-looking pregnant belly. The caption read, "Moon Bump Pregnancy Belly, the most realistic wearable baby bump. Perfect for photos, maternity shoots, or just having fun." Amber's eyes widened, and in that moment, in that wine bar, with the smell of oak and fermented grapes hanging in the air, an idea formed in her mind. A terrible, brilliant, stupid idea. "Madison," she said slowly, "what if I told everyone I was pregnant?" "What?" "Think about it. I pretend I'm pregnant for 9 months. I get all the gifts, all the attention, all the money Patricia's going to throw at me. Then at the end, I say I lost the baby." Madison's jaw dropped. "Amber, that's insane." "Is it? Miscarriages happen all the time. No one would question it, and I'd get sympathy. People would feel sorry for me. They'd never ask for their gifts back. And Patricia? She'd probably give me even more money to help me through my grief. But Amber, that's fraud. That's lying to everyone. To Ryan, to his mother." Amber's eyes had a strange glitter. Later, much later, I would recognize that look in the photos from that night. The look of someone convincing themselves that wrong is right. Amber said, "I'm not ready for a baby. My body, I've worked so hard to look like this. Pregnancy ruins your body. Stretch marks, weight gain, saggy breasts. I'm not ready for that." "Then tell Ryan you want to wait." "And risk Patricia cutting us off? No. This way I get the best of both worlds. I get all the benefits of being pregnant without actually being pregnant. I get the money, the gifts, the attention, and in 9 months I'll say I lost the baby. Everyone will be sad for a while, then life goes back to normal, and I'll have made, what, 60, 70, maybe $80,000 in gifts and cash?" "Amber." "I'm doing it." Amber pulled out her phone. Right there, in the wine bar, she opened Amazon. She searched "Moon Bump Pregnancy Belly." There it was, multiple options, sized for different months of pregnancy. She added the 7 to 9 month size to her cart, $89.99. "It's perfect," she whispered. December 25th, 2023, Christmas Day. I remember that day so clearly. I'd spent 3 days cooking: turkey, honey-glazed ham, 7 different side dishes, 3 kinds of pie. My dining room table was groaning under the weight of food. Ryan and Amber were coming over at 3 o'clock. I heard Ryan's car pull into the driveway, the sound of car doors slamming, their voices muffled, talking about something. I opened the door with a huge smile. "Merry Christmas!" Ryan hugged me first. My boy, 35 years old, but still my boy. He smelled of the cologne I bought him, sandalwood and cedar. Then Amber. She was bundled up in a thick winter coat. I remember thinking it was odd. It wasn't that cold, maybe 50 degrees. "Merry Christmas, Patricia," she kissed my cheek. We sat down for dinner. I'd set the table with my good china, the plates my mother had given me. Candles flickered in silver holders. Ryan was nervous. I could tell. He kept looking at Amber, smiling that secret smile couples have. Finally, as I was cutting the pie, he stood up. "Mom," he said, Amber and I have something to tell you. My heart stopped. Please, I thought, please let it be what I think it is. Amber stood too. She reached into her purse. Patricia, she said, and her voice was shaking. We're pregnant. She pulled out an ultrasound photo, black and white, that grainy image that all ultrasounds have. I screamed. Oh my God, really? Really? I ran around the table. I grabbed them both, hugged them. Tears were streaming down my face. I'm going to be a grandmother. I'm going to be a grandmother. Ryan was laughing. Yes, Mom, you're going to be a grandmother. I looked at the ultrasound photo, squinted at it. There was something, but I couldn't tell what I was looking at. They all looked the same to me, blurry blobs. How far along? I asked. 8 weeks. Due date is August 20th. I couldn't stop crying. After they left that night, after I had stuffed them full of leftovers and made them promise to call me every week with updates, I sat alone in my living room. The Christmas tree lights twinkled. Bing Crosby played softly on the stereo. I picked up the ultrasound photo they'd left me. I stared at it, and something nagged at me. Something about the photo looked off. There was no name on it, no date, no hospital logo, just the image. But I pushed the thought away. Stop it, Patricia. Stop being paranoid. This is the happiest day of your life. So I put the photo in a frame and placed it on my mantle. My first grandchild. Except there was no grandchild. There never had been. The months that followed were a blur of happiness for me and a carefully orchestrated performance for Amber. January 2024. I called Amber every Monday morning, 9 o'clock sharp. How are you feeling, sweetheart? Any morning sickness? Oh, yes, Amber would sigh. Terrible morning sickness. I can barely keep anything down. Oh, no. Are you taking ginger? My doctor swore by ginger candies when I was pregnant. I'll try that. Thanks, Patricia. I started sending care packages, premium prenatal vitamins, organic crackers, herbal teas safe for pregnancy. Every week, a package arrived at their door. I've probably spent $500 a month. In reality, Amber was drinking those herbal teas while she watched Netflix, her flat stomach clearly visible under her t-shirt when Ryan was at work. She'd posted on a private Instagram story, the ones only her closest friends could see, a photo of herself in a bikini. The caption, "Getting it in while I still can." Her friends commented, "OMG, you're so brave. I wish I looked that good pregnant." They thought she was really pregnant. Everyone did. February. I invited Amber to lunch, a nice French restaurant in downtown Lancaster. When she walked in, I could see it, a small bump, just barely visible under her loose sweater. My heart soared. "Look at you," I said, standing to hug her. "You're showing." "I know," Amber said, placing a hand on her stomach. "It happened so fast. One day I woke up and there it was." We ordered. She got the chicken. I noticed she avoided the wine menu without me even having to say anything. During lunch, she told me about the pregnancy symptoms, the fatigue, the weird cravings. She wanted pickles and ice cream at 2 in the morning, she said. Ryan had run out to 7-Eleven to get them for her. It sounded so real because she'd researched it. She'd read pregnancy forums, watched YouTube videos. She knew exactly what to say. "Have you thought about names?" I asked. Her eyes lit up. "Actually, yes. If it's a boy, we like James, after Ryan's father. My husband, my James, who died 8 years ago." I started crying right there in the restaurant. "Amber, that would mean so much." She reached across the table and squeezed my hand. God, she was good. March through May. The belly grew. Small in March, medium in April, large in May. Each month, Amber bought a new moon bump. The progression looked perfectly natural. She took photos, posted them on Facebook. 16 weeks, 20 weeks, 24 weeks. People liked and commented by the hundreds. "You're glowing. Beautiful mama. Can't wait to meet baby Miller." I was one of those people, liking every photo, commenting with heart emojis. I also started preparing. I told Amber I wanted to help set up the nursery. Oh, Patricia, you don't have to. Nonsense. Let me do this, please. So I took her to Pottery Barn Kids. We spent 4 hours there. She picked out everything: the crib, the changing table, the rocking chair, the lamp, the curtains, the rug. I handed over my credit card. $15,000. Are you sure? The sales associate asked, eyes wide. Absolutely sure, I said. Only the best for my grandchild. Amber hugged me in the parking lot. Thank you so much, Patricia. You're amazing. Inside, she was calculating. 15,000 plus the 10,000 from Christmas, plus all the weekly packages, plus the baby shower she knew was coming. Her bank account was growing. July. One evening, I stopped by their house unannounced. I'd made lasagna, homemade. I thought they'd enjoy a home-cooked meal. I knocked on the door. No answer, but I could hear voices inside. I tried the doorknob. It was unlocked. Hello? I called, walking in. It's just me. I brought food. Suddenly, I heard a crash from upstairs, then footsteps running. Patricia! Hi! Just a second. Amber appeared at the top of the stairs. Her face was flushed. She was wearing a thick bathrobe. I was just getting out of the shower, she explained, coming down the stairs. But her hair was dry, and as she approached me, I could have sworn I saw her belly shift, like it wasn't quite positioned right. Are you okay? I asked. Fine, just a little dizzy. Pregnancy thing. Come on, let's put that lasagna in the kitchen. I followed her. In the kitchen, she bent down to put the dish in the oven to keep warm, and when she bent, the bathrobe opened a little at the top. I saw it, just for a second, a line, a seam, where the belly met her real skin. I blinked. It was gone. Did I really see that, or was I imagining things? Patricia, you okay? You look pale. I'm fine, I said quickly, just tired. I'll let you rest. I left quickly. In my car, I sat for a moment, hands gripping the steering wheel. Something was wrong. I could feel it in my bones. But what? What was I suspecting? That my daughter-in-law was faking a pregnancy? That was insane. That was literally insane. People don't do that, not in real life. I drove home, but the image of that seam stayed with me. July and August. The baby shower was planned for September, but before that, there were other milestones. Amber announced on social media that they'd found out the sex. It's a boy! I cried. A grandson, after my late husband. She posted photos of the gender reveal party, blue balloons, blue cake, Ryan smiling with blue frosting on his face. I wasn't invited to the party. Small gathering, just close friends, Amber explained. That hurt, but I understood. Young people wanted their own space. Meanwhile, I was making other preparations. I hired a baby nurse, the best in Lancaster, $8,000 a month. I paid for 3 months up front. I bought a year's supply of diapers, thousands of dollars worth. I set up a college fund, another $50,000 deposited. Every cent I spent, I did it with joy. I was investing in my grandson's future. Except there was no grandson. September 14th, 2024. The night after the baby shower. 2 a.m. I sat at my computer, staring at the Google search results. Moon bump. Page after page of results, all for the same thing. Realistic wearable pregnancy bellies. Professional-grade prosthetic baby bumps. Perfect for photos, pranks, and maternity simulations. I clicked on the official Moon Bump website. There it was, in all its horrifying glory. Photos of women wearing these fake bellies. They looked so real. They moved. They had weight. They even came in different skin tones. Prices ranged from $89 to $300. Customer reviews. So realistic, fooled everyone at my office. I wore this for a full day and no one suspected a thing. Great for maternity photo shoots without actually being pregnant. I felt sick. I ran to the bathroom and vomited. When I came back, I sat on my bathroom floor, the cool tile against my skin, the smell of mint from my toothpaste, and I thought about the last 9 months, all the signs I'd ignored. The champagne glass, 7 months pregnant, and she'd almost drunk alcohol, stopped only when she saw me watching. The heels, 3 hours standing at the baby shower in 10-centimeter heels, no swelling, no complaints. The movement. Real pregnant bellies shift. They move when the mother moves. Amber's belly stayed perfectly round, perfectly still. The hospital visits. 9 months, and Amber had never once let me come to a doctor's appointment. I prefer to go alone. Ryan's too busy. It's just a quick checkup. Every single time, an excuse. The ultrasound photos. Always a little blurry. No hospital name, no doctor's name, just the image. And that seam I'd seen in June. It all made sense now. Horrible, terrible sense. My daughter-in-law was faking a pregnancy. But why? The answer came to me as I sat there on the cold bathroom floor. Money. I'd given them, over $100,000 in the past 9 months. The house deposit, the nursery, the baby nurse, the trust fund, the shower gifts. She'd scammed me. She'd scammed everyone. And she was planning to end it with a fake miscarriage. I was sure of it now. In a month or 2, she'd announced she'd lost the baby. Everyone would feel terrible for her. No one would ask for their gifts back, and she'd keep everything. It was brilliant, in a sick, twisted way. I stood up, looked at myself in the mirror. My face was pale. My eyes were red. But behind the pain, there was something else. Determination. If she thinks I'm just some stupid old woman she can con, I said out loud to my reflection, she's about to find out how wrong she is. September 15th, Sunday morning. I didn't go to church. Instead, I made phone calls. First call, Lancaster General Hospital. Hello, I'm trying to verify a patient record for Amber Miller, Miller. She should have been seeing an OB/GYN there since January. Hold music. Then a woman's voice. I'm sorry, ma'am, we have no patient by that name in our obstetrics department. Are you sure? Can you check again? I've checked twice. No Amber Miller. I thanked her and hung up. Second call, Lancaster Women's Health Center. Checking on a patient, Amber Miller. No record, ma'am. Third call, St. Joseph's Hospital. Amber Miller. Nothing in our system. 4 hospitals, 0 records. My hands were shaking as I made the 5th call. This one was to an old friend, Marcus Chen, a private investigator. We'd worked together on some real estate cases years ago. Marcus, it's Patricia Miller. I need your help. September 16th through 20th. Those were the longest 5 days of my life. I couldn't confront Amber, not yet. I needed proof, real, undeniable proof. On Tuesday, I drove to their house while they were both at work. I still had a key. Ryan had given it to me for emergencies. This counted as an emergency. I let myself in. The house smelled like vanilla, Amber's favorite candle scent. I went upstairs to the master bedroom. My heart was pounding so hard I thought I might have a heart attack. I opened Amber's closet. Clothes, shoes, bags. I went to the master bathroom. Under the sink, nothing. In the drawers, makeup, hair products, skincare. Then I saw it. In the trash can, under some tissues. A box. I pulled it out. Moon bump, wearable baby belly, realistic maternity belly, 7 to 9 month size. There was the product photo, a smiling woman wearing the fake belly. Below that, made from medical-grade silicone, straps adjust for comfort, looks and feels real. I took out my phone, took a photo. Then I put the box back exactly where I found it. My hands were shaking so badly I almost dropped my phone. I left the house, locked the door behind me, sat in my car for 10 minutes, just breathing. September 21st. Marcus called.
Patricia, I have your report. And you're not going to like it. Tell me, Amber Miller has not visited any OBGYN in Lancaster County in the past 9 months. I checked every hospital, every clinic, every private practice. I knew it. But there's more. I followed her for 3 days. Want to know where she went? Where? Day 1, massage spa in the morning, nail salon in the afternoon, wine bar in the evening. She had 2 glasses of Chardonnay. I closed my eyes. Day 2, shopping at King of Prussia Mall. I have photos of her trying on non-maternity clothes in the dressing room. Patricia, I could see her removing the belly. She took it off to try on a dress. Oh, God. Day 3, lunch with a friend at a restaurant. I was at the table next to them. I recorded their conversation. Do you want to hear it? Yes. He played the audio. Amber's voice, clear as day. So the plan is, in about a month, I'll tell everyone I lost the baby. We'll get so much sympathy, and we get to keep all the gifts. It's perfect, Madison. Patricia alone has given us like $100,000. Her friend, Madison. Amber, I still think this is crazy. Crazy profitable. I'm going to tell them I want some time to grieve, and then in like a year, when we're actually ready, we'll have a real baby. But by then, we'll have all this money saved up. The recording stopped. I was crying. Patricia? Send me everything. Every photo, every document, every recording. I need it all. What are you going to do? What I should have done 9 months ago. I'm going to expose her. September 22nd, Monday. I woke up at 5 a.m. Hadn't slept more than 2 hours. My mind was racing, planning. I made coffee. The smell of dark roast filled my kitchen. Normally, that smell comforted me. This morning, it just made me nauseous. I sat at my kitchen table with all the evidence spread out in front of me. The moon bump box photo, the hospital statement showing no record, Marcus's surveillance photos, the audio recording. And then I did something I never thought I'd do. I looked up the ultrasound photo Amber had given me on Christmas. I opened Google Images, dragged the photo into the search bar. Within seconds, results appeared. The exact same ultrasound image appeared on a stock photo website, Getty Images. It was a generic 8-week ultrasound. Anyone could download it for $12.99. She hadn't even bothered to change it, just downloaded it and printed it. I laughed. Actually laughed. Not because it was funny, but because it was so stupid, so obvious, and I'd missed it. We all had. September 23rd, Tuesday. I needed to talk to someone who would understand. I called my best friend, Dorothy. We'd known each other for 40 years, since our kids were in kindergarten together. Dorothy, can you come over? I need to tell you something. Of course, honey. I'll be there in 20 minutes. When she arrived, I made tea, chamomile. We sat in my living room. I told her everything. Dorothy's face went through every emotion: shock, disbelief, anger. That little... She stopped herself, took a breath. Patricia, I made a quilt for that baby. 200 hours of work, hand-stitched. It was going to be my gift at the shower. I know. And there's no baby? There's no baby. Dorothy set down her teacup. Her hand was shaking. What are you going to do? I'm going to expose her.
publicly. How? I'm working on that. Dorothy was quiet for a moment. Then she looked at me. Do you need help? I nodded. Then I'm in, whatever you need. September 25th, Thursday. I made an appointment with my lawyer, Howard Berkowitz. He'd handled my business contracts for 20 years. I brought all the evidence. Howard looked through everything, shook his head multiple times. Patricia, he said finally, this is fraud, clear-cut fraud. You could press charges. Criminal charges? Absolutely. Theft by deception, wire fraud if she used any electronic means to solicit these gifts. This is serious. What would happen to her? Depending on the amount involved, could be up to 5 years in prison, plus she'd have to repay everything. I thought about that. Amber in prison? Ryan devastated, humiliated. I don't want her in prison, I said. I want her out of my son's life. I want everyone to know what she did, and I want every penny back. Here's what we do, Howard said, leaning forward. We create leverage. We gather all this evidence, compile it professionally, and present it in a way that gives her 2 choices: admit everything publicly and return everything, or face criminal prosecution. But I want it to be public. I want everyone who gave her gifts to know. They deserve to know. Howard smiled. It wasn't a nice smile. Oh, I think we can arrange that. September 28th, Saturday. I was in my car, parked outside Ryan and Amber's house. Ryan's car wasn't there. He'd mentioned going to a work conference this weekend, Pittsburgh. He'd be gone until Sunday night. Amber was home alone. I watched the house. At 2 p.m., Amber came out. She was wearing yoga pants, a loose hoodie. No belly. She got in her car and drove away. I followed her. She went to Target. I parked a few rows away and watched. She came out 20 minutes later with bags, regular shopping bags. Then she went to Starbucks, got a coffee. I could see through the window, a large coffee with whipped cream. Pregnant women are supposed to limit caffeine. She'd made a big deal about switching to decaf for the past 9 months. Clearly, that was over. I took photos of everything. When she got home, I watched her go inside. Through the window, I could see her in the kitchen. She pulled off her hoodie. Flat stomach, completely flat. She opened a bag from Target, pulled out a box. I couldn't see what it was from this distance, but I could guess. Probably another moon bump, getting ready for the final month of her pregnancy. I sat in my car for another hour, thinking, planning. By the time I drove home, I knew exactly what I was going to do. October 1st, Wednesday. I went to visit our church pastor, Reverend Michael Thompson, no relation, despite the same last name. Patricia, he said, welcoming me into his office. This is a surprise. What brings you here on a Wednesday? Michael, I need your help with something, and I need you to trust me. I told him everything. He listened without interrupting. His face grew more and more concerned. When he finished, he sat back in his chair. Patricia, this is one of the most disturbing things I've heard in my 30 years of ministry. I know. And you have proof of all this? All of it. What do you need from me? I need you to help me plan a special service, a blessing ceremony for Amber and the baby, October 15th, 2 weeks before her due date. He studied me. But there is no baby. Exactly. Understanding dawned on his face. You're going to expose her in front of the whole church, in front of everyone who gave her gifts, everyone she lied to. Yes. Reverend Thompson was quiet for a long moment. Then he looked at me. Normally, I would say this isn't the Christian thing to do, that we should handle this privately, with grace. But she's stolen from this community. She's lied to a grieving widow who just wanted a grandchild. She's perverted something sacred, the gift of life, for money. He nodded. Yes, I'll help you. October 5th, Sunday after church service. I invited Amber to lunch, just the 2 of us, a nice cafe in town. She showed up in a flowing maternity dress. The belly was huge now, the 9-month size, I guessed. "Look at you," I said. "You're about to pop." "I know," she laughed, sitting down carefully. "2 more weeks, can you believe it?" "Actually, that's what I wanted to talk to you about." I pulled out a card. I'd had it specially made. "The church wants to do a special blessing ceremony for you and the baby, October 15th. It'll be beautiful. The whole congregation will be there to pray over you and baby James." Amber's eyes lit up. "Really? Patricia, that's so sweet." "I thought you'd like it. We'll make it special. And of course, people will probably bring gifts." That sealed it, the mention of gifts. "I'll be there. Absolutely." We finished lunch, made small talk. She told me about her Braxton Hicks contractions and how uncomfortable she was. All lies, all performance. But I smiled and nodded, because in 10 days, the performance would be over. October 14th, the night before. I couldn't sleep again. I kept thinking about what was going to happen tomorrow. Was I doing the right thing? I thought about all those gifts, the quilts, the money, the love poured into every item. I thought about Dorothy's 200 hours of stitching, about Mrs. Henderson's $2,000 check, about my own $15,000 on nursery furniture. But more than the money, I thought about the lie, the violation of trust. If I let this go, Amber would get away with it. She'll fake a miscarriage next month. Everyone will feel sorry for her, and she'll keep everything. She'd probably do it again someday to someone else. No, this ends tomorrow. I called Dorothy. "Are you sure you're ready?" "I'm ready. I'll be there, front row."
October 15th, 2024, 6 p.m. The church fellowship hall was filling up. I'd spent the day making sure everything was perfect. Reverend Thompson had made it sound like a beautiful blessing ceremony. Word had spread through the congregation. People were excited. The room was set up with chairs in a semicircle. At the front, a special chair for Amber, decorated with white ribbons and flowers. Candles everywhere, the soft glow making everything look warm and holy. People started arriving at 6:30. Dorothy was one of the first. She sat in the front row and gave me a nod. Then Mrs. Henderson and her husband, the Johnsons who'd given the mahogany cradle, members of the women's ministry, business associates of mine, friends of Ryan and Amber. By 6:50, there were 95 people in the room. The buzz of conversation filled the air. Everyone was happy, excited. They had no idea. At 6:55, I saw Ryan's car pull into the parking lot. My stomach clenched. Ryan didn't know either. I thought about telling him, warning him, but I couldn't risk it. He might tell Amber, or he might not believe me. No, he had to see it for himself. I watched them walk from the parking lot to the church entrance. Amber was dressed in white, a beautiful white maternity gown. She'd done her hair in soft curls, professional makeup. She looked like an angel. The belly was enormous. She had to be wearing the maximum size moon bump. Ryan held her arm, guiding her gently. He looked so proud. My heart broke for him. They entered the fellowship hall. Everyone started clapping. Amber smiled, waved, played the part perfectly. She and Ryan sat in the chairs of honor at the front. 7 p.m. Reverend Thompson stood up. "Welcome, everyone. We're here tonight for a very special occasion to bless Amber, Ryan, and their son James, who will be joining us very soon." More applause. "Before we begin the blessing, Patricia Miller has asked to say a few words." He looked at me. This was it. I stood up, walked to the front, turned to face the crowd. 95 pairs of eyes on me. I could hear my heartbeat in my ears. "Thank you all for coming," I began. My voice was steady, stronger than I felt. 9 months ago, on Christmas Day, Amber and Ryan told me they were expecting. I cannot describe the joy I felt. After years of waiting, I was finally going to be a grandmother. I paused, looked at Amber. She was smiling at me. Over these past 9 months, I've done everything I could to prepare for my grandson's arrival. I've bought furniture, clothes, toys. I've hired a baby nurse, set up college funds. I've spent
Well, let's just say I've spent a considerable amount. Polite laughter from the crowd. And I did it all gladly because that's what you do for family. That's what you do for the people you love. I turned to face Amber directly now. But then I started noticing things. The smile on Amber's face faltered slightly. Small things at first, things that didn't quite add up. So I did what any concerned grandmother would do. I investigated. I pulled out a remote control, clicked it. Behind me, a large screen dropped down from the ceiling. The projector turned on. The first slide appeared, a photo of the Moon Bump website. This is called a moon bump. It's a fake pregnancy belly. You can buy it on Amazon for $90. Gasps from the audience. Amber's face went white. Second slide. This is the box I found in Amber's trash can. Moon bump, 7 to 9 month size. More gasps. People started whispering. Third slide. These are statements from 4 different hospitals in Lancaster County. None of them have any record of an Amber Miller being treated in their obstetrics departments. The whispers got louder. Fourth slide. This is the ultrasound photo Amber gave me on Christmas. And this, I clicked again, is where she got it. Getty Images, a stock photo available for download for $12.99. Someone in the back said, "Oh my God." Fifth slide, photos from Marcus's investigation. Amber at the wine bar, Amber at the nail salon, Amber trying on clothes with no belly visible. Sixth slide, and this is an audio recording of September 21st. I clicked play. Amber's voice filled the room. So the plan is, in about a month, I'll tell everyone I lost the baby. We'll get so much sympathy, and we get to keep all the gifts. It's perfect, Madison. Patricia alone has given us like $100 grand. The room exploded, people standing up, shouting, "What? This can't be real. She faked it?" I looked at Ryan. He was staring at Amber. His face was the definition of betrayal. "Amber," he said quietly, "please tell me this isn't true." Amber was crying now, shaking her head. "Ryan, I can explain." "Then explain," he shouted. Everyone went quiet. "Is there a baby? Are you really pregnant?" Amber opened her mouth, closed it. No words came out. "Let's find out," a voice said. Dr. Sarah Henderson stood up. She'd been sitting in the third row. She walked to the front carrying a small medical bag. "I'm an OB/GYN, she announced to the room. "I have a fetal Doppler here. It's a simple device that listens for the baby's heartbeat. If Amber is really 36 weeks pregnant, we'll hear it immediately." She looked at Amber. "May I?" Amber stood up, backed away. "No, you can't. I won't." "Why not?" Dr. Sarah asked. "If you're really pregnant, this will prove everyone wrong." "I said no." Amber turned, started to walk away, but she was crying, shaking, not looking where she was going. She tripped over one of the decorative ribbons on the floor, fell forward. There was a collective gasp, and as she fell, her dress pulled up slightly, and we all saw it, the edge of the moon bump, the flesh-colored silicone, the straps holding it in place. She landed hard. The impact must have knocked something loose because the belly shifted, visibly shifted, moved to the side, no longer centered on her stomach. Someone screamed. Amber scrambled to her feet, tried to adjust it, but it was too late. Everyone had seen. "Oh my God," Ryan said. "Oh my God, it's fake. It's all fake." He walked toward her. "Ryan, please." "How long?" His voice was shaking. "How long have you been lying to me?" "Since Christmas, but I can explain. You've been lying to me for 9 months. 9 months." His voice echoed in the fellowship hall. "We were supposed to be having a baby. I thought I was going to be a father. I told everyone at work. I installed a car seat." He was crying now. "And it was all a lie?" Amber reached for him. He stepped back. "Don't touch me." He looked at his mother. "Mom, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. I swear to God I didn't know." I walked over to him, put my hand on his shoulder. "I know, honey, I know." Dorothy stood up. I want my quilt back. I spent 200 hours making that. 200 hours for a fake baby. Mrs. Henderson stood up. I want my money back. Every penny. One by one, people stood. The room was filled with voices, angry voices, hurt voices, betrayed voices. Amber stood in the center of it all, the white dress, the shifted belly, mascara running down her face. I'm sorry, she whispered. I'm so sorry. But sorry wasn't enough.
The fellowship hall had descended into chaos. 95 people all talking at once, some shouting, some crying. Reverend Thompson stood up and raised his hands. Please, everyone, let's maintain some order. Gradually, the noise died down. People sat back down, but the air was electric with anger and shock. Ryan was sitting in the front row now, his head in his hands. Amber stood alone in the center, still crying, her carefully applied makeup ruined. The shifted moon bump made her look almost grotesque. Half her stomach was flat, the other half still artificially round. Reverend Thompson spoke. Amber, I think you owe everyone here an explanation. Amber wiped her eyes. Her hands were shaking. I didn't mean for it to go this far. Then how far did you mean for it to go? Dorothy asked sharply. Amber flinched. I wasn't ready to have a baby, but everyone kept asking, especially Patricia, and Ryan wanted kids so badly, and I thought if I just pretended for a while. You thought what? I asked. My voice was cold. That you could steal from us and we wouldn't notice? It wasn't about stealing. It was about I needed time, and the gifts just kept coming, and I thought, well, when I say I lost the baby, no one will ask for them back. People don't do that. You were planning to fake a miscarriage? This was from Dr. Sarah, her voice incredulous. Amber nodded miserably. Next month, I was going to say I went into premature labor and the baby didn't make it. The gasps this time were softer, but more horrified. Do you have any idea, Dr. Sarah continued, her voice shaking with anger, how insensitive that is? How cruel to every woman who has actually lost a child, to every family who has suffered that kind of tragedy? Amber was sobbing now. Ryan stood up. He walked over to her. For a moment, I thought he might comfort her. Instead, he said, "Take it off." What? The belly, the fake belly. Take it off. Now, in front of everyone. Ryan, please. You wanted everyone to think you were pregnant. You played this role for 9 months, so finish the show. Take it off. Amber looked around the room, 95 pairs of eyes staring at her. Slowly, with shaking hands, she reached under her dress. We heard the sound of Velcro, straps being unfastened. She pulled the moon bump out from under her dress, held it in her hands, a flesh-colored silicone pregnant belly, complete with a realistic navel, stretch-mark detailing. It had cost $90. It had destroyed her marriage. Ryan took it from her hands, looked at it, then threw it across the room. It hit the wall with a thud and fell to the floor. Everyone stared at it. This thing, this piece of silicone and straps, this had fooled all of us. I want a divorce, Ryan said quietly. Amber's head snapped up. Ryan, no. Please, we can work through this. Work through this? You lied to me every single day for 9 months. You lied to my mother. You lied to everyone we know. You stole money, gifts, time, love. You faked a pregnancy. You were going to fake our baby's death. He stepped closer to her. I don't even know who you are. I'm your wife. No, I was married to someone I thought I knew, but that person doesn't exist. She never did. He turned to me. Mom, I'm going to stay at your place tonight. I can't be in that house with her. I nodded. Of course, sweetheart. Ryan walked out of the fellowship hall. The door closed behind him with a final sounding thud. Amber looked at me. Patricia, please. I know I messed up, but... Messed up? I cut her off. Amber, you committed fraud. Do you understand that? What you did is a crime.
I pulled out my phone, called Howard, my lawyer, put him on speaker. Howard, it's Patricia. Are you getting this? Every word. I'm recording the live stream from the church security cameras. Amber's face went even paler. Live stream? The blessing ceremony was being broadcast to our church members who couldn't attend in person. About 300 people are watching from home. And I have a written confession being drafted as we speak. Amber Miller, you have two choices. Choice 1, you voluntarily return every single item, every dollar, every gift given to you under the false pretense of pregnancy. You submit to a payment plan for anything you've already spent. You issue a public apology, and we don't press criminal charges. What's choice 2? Amber whispered. Choice 2, I file criminal charges first thing tomorrow morning. Theft by deception, wire fraud. Given the amount involved, over $80,000, you're looking at felony charges, 3 to 5 years in prison. Silence. What's it going to be, Amber? She collapsed into a chair. I'll return everything. I'll do whatever you want. Just please don't send me to prison. Smart choice, Howard said. I'll have the papers ready by Monday. You'll sign them. And Amber, if you miss a single payment or fail to return a single item, the offer is off the table. Understood? Yes. Dorothy stood up. I'm taking my quilt tonight. Where is it? In the nursery closet at the house, Amber said quietly. Good. I'm going there now, and I'm taking back everything I gave, the clothes, the toys, all of it. One by one, others stood up. I'm getting my money back. I want my gift returned. You have 3 days to return what I gave you. Amber sat there, taking it all. I looked at her. This woman whom I'd welcomed into my family, whom I trusted, loved even, who'd betrayed all of us. Amber, I need you to know something. She looked up at me. I didn't do this because I wanted revenge. I did this because my son deserves better. This community deserves better. And frankly, you need to learn that actions have consequences. I know. I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't give me back the 9 months I spent dreaming about a grandchild who doesn't exist. Sorry doesn't erase the lie, but maybe this will teach you something. I turned to address the room. Thank you all for being here tonight. I know this isn't how anyone expected this evening to go, but truth needed to be told, and now it has been. People started filing out. Some stopped to hug me. You did the right thing, Patricia. I'm so sorry you had to go through this. That took courage. Within 20 minutes, the fellowship hall was empty except for me, Reverend Thompson, and Amber. Amber stood up. What do I do now? She asked quietly. You start by telling the truth, Amber, to everyone you lied to, and then you make restitution, and then maybe someday you find forgiveness. She nodded, walked out. I watched her go. Reverend Thompson put a hand on my shoulder. How are you holding up? I don't know, I admitted. Part of me is relieved, part of me is devastated. For Ryan? For all of us, this is going to hurt him for a long time. He has you, he'll heal. I hope he was right.
December 24th, 2024, Christmas Eve. 2 months had passed. I was in my kitchen making cookies, chocolate chip, Ryan's favorite. The radio played Christmas music softly. Silent night filled the room, mixing with the smell of butter and sugar and vanilla. My phone rang. Howard. Patricia, I have good news. Tell me. Final payment was made today. Amber has returned everything, every gift, every dollar. Total restitution, $78,400, plus the $25,000 in damages we added for emotional distress and legal fees. She paid it all? Every penny. Had to get a second job, but she paid. I closed my eyes. Thank you, Howard. There's something else. The divorce was finalized yesterday. I know, Ryan told me. He's doing okay? Better, slowly but surely. After I hung up, I thought about the past 2 months. The aftermath.
The first week after that night at church had been brutal. The story spread through Lancaster like wildfire. Social media exploded. Amber's Facebook and Instagram were flooded with comments, most of them not kind. Someone created a website, The Baby Shower Scam. It detailed everything, all the evidence, the timeline, the photos. Local news picked it up. Lancaster woman fakes pregnancy, scams community out of thousands. Amber's face was on the evening news. She'd deleted all her social media within 3 days. Ryan had moved in with me immediately. The first night, he didn't speak, just sat in the guest room, staring at nothing. On the third day, he finally cried. We sat in my living room, and he sobbed like a child. "I really thought I was going to be a dad," he said between gasps. "I bought books. I was planning my future. I imagined teaching him to play catch, reading him bedtime stories. And it was all fake." "I know, baby. I know." "How did I not see it? How was I so stupid?" "You weren't stupid. You loved her. You trusted her. That's not stupidity. That's being human." "I feel like such an idiot." "Don't. She was the one who chose to lie, not you." We went to counseling together, both individual and family sessions. Slowly, very slowly, Ryan started to heal. The legal proceedings. Amber had signed the agreement on October 18th. She returned the bugaboo stroller, all the nursery furniture, the pearl necklace, Dorothy's quilt, every item from the baby shower, cash equivalent for anything she'd already used or couldn't return. The payment plan was strict, $2,000 a month until the full amount was paid. She got a second job waitressing at night to make the payments. I heard through the grapevine that she'd moved back in with her parents in Reading, Pennsylvania, 45 minutes away from Lancaster. Good. Far enough. The community response. The church handled it well, all things considered. Reverend Thompson gave a sermon the following Sunday about forgiveness and consequences. He said, "What Amber did was wrong, deeply wrong, but our response must be guided by grace. We can demand justice, and we should, while still praying for her redemption." Some people listened, others didn't. There were a few families who left the church uncomfortable with the public nature of the exposure, but most stayed, and most supported me. The women's ministry held a prayer circle for me, Ryan, and even for Amber. Dorothy brought me casseroles every week. Mrs. Henderson checked in on me daily. The community rallied, and I realized something. Yes, Amber had betrayed us, but she'd also, inadvertently, brought us closer together. We'd learned to protect each other, to verify, to question, but also to support, to love, to heal together. Christmas Eve service. That evening, I went to church. Ryan came with me. It was the first time he'd been back since October 15th. We sat in our usual pew, third row on the left. The sanctuary was beautiful, candles everywhere, the smell of pine from the Christmas tree, the sound of the organ playing O Holy Night. During the service, Reverend Thompson asked if anyone wanted to share testimonies. I stood up, walked to the front. "Many of you know what happened 2 months ago," I began. The congregation was quiet. "I stood in front of you and exposed a lie, a betrayal, and I did it publicly, which some of you thought was harsh." I paused. "But I want you to understand why I did it. Not for revenge, not for humiliation, but because I believe in truth. I believe that our community deserves honesty, that our love and generosity shouldn't be taken advantage of." I looked around the room. Someone asked me last week if I regret how I handled it, if I should have been quieter, more private, more forgiving. And my answer is no, because if I'd handled it quietly,
Amber would have faked that miscarriage. She would have kept everything, and she probably would have done it to someone else someday. By exposing her publicly, yes, I hurt her. I hurt my son. I hurt our family's reputation. But I also protected every one of you. I protected future victims, and I taught a lesson that mercy without accountability is enablement. I stepped back down. The room was silent for a moment. Then someone started clapping, then another, then the whole congregation. I sat back down next to Ryan. He squeezed my hand. "I'm proud of you, Mom," he whispered. Later that night, Ryan and I drove home together. Snow was falling, gentle flakes coating the streets of Lancaster in white. Christmas lights twinkled on every house we passed. "Are you okay?" I asked. He said, "I'm getting there. Dr. Morrison says I'm making progress." Dr. Morrison was his therapist. "Good, that's good." "Mom?" "Yes?" "Thank you for protecting me, even when I didn't know I needed protecting. That's what mothers do." We pulled into my driveway. Inside, the house smelled like cookies and pine. I'd put up a tree, a small one, just for the two of us. We sat by the fire, drank hot chocolate, opened a few presents. I gave Ryan a watch, his father's watch, actually. I'd been saving it. "Dad would want you to have this," I said. Ryan's eyes filled with tears. "Thank you, Mom." He gave me a card. Inside, he'd written, "Mom, this year taught me what real love looks like, not the fake kind, the real kind, the kind that tells hard truths and makes hard choices. Thank you for loving me that much. Ryan." I cried. We sat by the fire until the logs burned down to embers, and I thought about everything that happened: the betrayal, the exposure, the pain, the healing. And I realized something. I hadn't just protected my son. I'd protected myself, my dignity, my truth, my right to demand better. At 68 years old, I'd learned that you're never too old to stand up for yourself, never too old to say no more, never too old to fight back. Present day. The cookies came out of the oven. I plated them carefully. Tomorrow, Ryan and I would go to Christmas dinner at Dorothy's house. We'd be with people who loved us, protected us, stood by us. Real family, chosen family. I looked out the window. Snow was still falling. The world looked clean, fresh, new, like a blank page. And I thought about next year. Maybe Ryan would meet someone new, someone honest, someone worthy of him. Maybe I'd take that trip to Europe I'd always dreamed about. Maybe we'd both just heal and grow and find joy in small things. Whatever came next, I knew one thing: we'd face it with truth, because truth, even when it hurts, is always better than a beautiful lie. You know, when people ask me if I have any regrets, I tell them this: I regret that it happened at all. I regret that someone I welcomed into my family turned out to be a fraud. I regret the pain my son went through. But I don't regret exposing her, because here's what I learned. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do is tell the truth, even when it's brutal. Sometimes love means protecting people from their own bad choices, and sometimes the greatest gift you can give someone is accountability. Amber taught me that not everyone who smiles at you has good intentions, that generosity can be exploited, that trust is precious and fragile. But this experience also taught me something else: that communities can heal, that truth is stronger than lies, that dignity isn't about age, it's about choice, and that at 68 years old, I still have the strength to fight for what's right. So, if you're listening to this and you're going through something similar,
Maybe not a fake pregnancy, but some kind of betrayal, some kind of lie that you're not sure how to handle, let me tell you this. Trust your instincts, gather your evidence, stand up for yourself, and don't be afraid to demand the truth no matter how ugly it might be. Because you deserve better. We all do. Life is like a box of chocolates, and if you find a poison one, you spit it out and warn everyone else. That's not cruel, that's survival. If this story resonated with you, please subscribe to this channel. Your subscription helps me share more true stories like this one. And leave a comment below. Tell me, what would you have done in my situation? Would you have exposed her publicly or handled it differently? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Thank you for listening. And remember, the truth may hurt, but lies hurt worse. See you in the next story.